And now we are on our next speaker. Romeo is a Google for Education certified trainer from Zamboanga City, Philippines. He graduated with a degree in Bachelor of Science in Information Technology and completed his certificate in Professional Education from the Ateneo de Zamboanga University, or ADZU. He finished his master in computer graphics and animation from the Ateneo de Naga University. He has been teaching for more than 14 years and currently he serves at ZU as one of the faculty of computer science department. From CSIT, or the College of Science and Information Technology. And also, he is the LMS, or Learning Management System Administrator of the Center for Information Technology Services. He loves topics related to graphic design, animation, multimedia, and educational tools. When he is not busy, he loves to watch Netflix, of course, with his wife, and produce YouTube content for his YouTube channel, the EdTech Explorer. Now, without further ado, we're giving you the live session for classroom management using Google Classroom. So, Romeo, take it away.
Thank you very much, Faye, for that wonderful for that introduction. And it's my pleasure to be here. I have always it's always been my one of my wish list or my dreams to be a resource speaker in Google convention or Google event. So thank you very much for having me here. So this is like one of the check marks in my bucket list. So thank you very much for this opportunity. It's my really honor to be here. So I'll be sharing my screen now. Okay, share screen. All right. Okay. So yeah, so I think everyone can see my screen now. All right. So welcome everyone to the Classroom Management using Google Classroom session for Google I/O Extended Sambuanga event. And to start with, um, again, I am Romeo Rabajante Jr., a Google for Education certified trainer. I have been with Ateneo for more than 14 years now. I've been teaching with the computer science department of the College of Science and Information Technology. And also, I'm like a content creator wannabe, so I am maintaining a YouTube channel, the EdTech Explorer. So you can probably search on that after our session. All right. So just to bring everyone on the same boat, no. So let's just have some expectation check. One of this based on experience, no. So everything that I'll be sharing today will be based on experience and how I utilize the Google Classroom for my classes or for anything that I that needs to use that I need to use Google Classroom. So most probably some of you are already Google Classroom users. So I'm also hoping that I can also learn from you. So let's use this platform as a learning environment because the second expectation would be an empty cup this afternoon. No, so what we uh, the intention would be is that uh, since everybody, or probably I guess some of you are already a Google Classroom user, no, I am not an expert of the Google Classroom, but what I'll be sharing to you is how I utilize the Google Classroom, and I'm sure there are things that probably some you also have some techniques that how you utilize the Google Classroom. So if you have some tips and tricks also, please feel free to type your tips and tricks in the comment section so that we can also learn from each other. And which is one of the expectation is that we will be participating actively. Okay, so like I said earlier, let's use this platform. I think this is one of the objectives of this event is that for us to learn new things and learn from each other. So please do type your if you have something to share, feel free type your what's this your tips and tricks, no, in the comment section. Ayan. Okay. So with that, for the session flow, we'll be doing some things to know, and then after that, we'll be doing a demo, and after that, we'll be going for the conclusion. Okay. So with that, let me ask you: are you ready, no, to proceed with this session? If you are ready, kindly type "ready" in our chat box, and so we can already proceed. Okay. So and so please type "ready." Oh, thank you very much for your responses. All right. See you. So to start, okay, let's start with things to know. All right. So things to know is, of course, COVID-19 when it entered the Philippines. All right, it disrupted our normal life. No, I can still remember when we had when the government announced that everything should stop. No, the face to face classes, and even the offices needs to be needs to be stopped, and you know we should stay at home, and that time was so crazy. And I believe some of us were some of I can still remember that some of us were preparing for the graduation, some of us were preparing for vacation. No, I can remember me and my wife were already planning for where to go, no, during our sem break, but COVID happened, and because of that everything changed for all of us, and people started working at home. No, life must continue even despite of this pandemic. Life must continue. Hence, if you will look at this first photo, people started working at home. No, live selling became more popular. Working at home, home-based working, and homegrown businesses also became so popular, and almost everyone have adopted to working at home. No, but unfortunately, there were some who cannot who cannot adapt. No, so this situation have became a somewhat a bittersweet for some. No, it also became a starting point for new businesses for some people. No, like I have a friend who started her at first before the pandemic. She had this ticketing office, but because of the lockdowns and all, from selling tickets, now she bakes a lot of cakes. No, so that's her business right now. And now, because of that, also in the education sector, in the academe, life must also go on. So that's why, in the second photo tells us that everybody or almost all the schools had to adopt the online learning. Okay, we have to from face to face, we had to adopt with the online learning, and it has been a struggle for all of us. No, even not just for the students but also for the teachers. And in fact, there were some schools who were not able to adapt to this technology because they don't have the resources, and so they have to close. No, but praise God that there are still schools who were able to do this. Now, one of the things that a teacher needs to in order for us to be able to deliver the learning experience to our students is the learning management system. No, so the learning management system allows us to keep track, allows us to keep track the performance of our students, allows us to deliver the learning experience of our students. Now, for some schools, no, like in our school, the Ateneo de Zamboanga University, we already have the default learning management system. But unfortunately, not all schools had the learning management system. No, some teachers have to look for their own. What's this? They have to look for their own learning management system. They have to study other. They have to look and study other learning management systems because they don't have they don't still have an official learning management system in their school. Now, if you're someone whose school that does not have any a learning management system, then probably this could be one of your possible consideration. No, of course, because of that, because not all schools has the learning management system, teachers have to be creative. Like I said earlier, you have some teachers have needed to look for other possible LMS. No, some turn to social media, some turn to other free LMS. So one of the possible LMS that you can actually turn to or use for your classes is the Google Workspace, particularly the Google Classroom. No? So as you can see, Google Classroom is one of the popular learning management system around the world. It is highly used, not all, simply because it's not just because it's part of the Google Workspace, but it's also for free, and it integrates a lot of the Google Workspace tools inside the Google Classroom. So if you utilize the Google Classroom, you can also utilize the other Google Workspace tools. You know? So that's how beautiful that's how awesome the Google Classroom is. Now, to give you just a little idea how to utilize the Google Classroom, now, I believe for those teachers out there, probably you would agree on this one that some of the basic features that we need in LMS is number one, we can upload a learning material for a synchronous session with our students. And of course, it allows us to assess our students just to check if they have learned something from us during our synchronous session and even during the asynchronous session. No? And of course, one of the most important part of an LMS is to have an interaction between the teacher and the student, and of course, among the learners as well. Now, these three are just some, I believe, no, this is just my personal opinion. I believe that these three are the three basic or most important features in an LMS. No, to be able to upload the learning material, assess the students, and of course have an interaction among the learners and the teachers. Now, if you wish to use the Google Classroom, all you have to do is just go to you can click the Google waffle in the Google Chrome, and you can look for the Google Classroom icon. And what's nice about the Google Classroom, it's accessible almost anywhere. If you have your tablet or you have your mobile phone, you can download the mobile apps either in the Play Store or in the App Store. So, and even use the browser now. So it's very, very useful for all of us. Now, if you land in the Google Classroom page, if you are a Google Classroom user already, you'll be able to see all of your classrooms available in that page. And of course, to join, all you have to do is just to click the plus sign, and you can either click join if you're a student, and of course you can click create if you want to use the Google Classroom for your classes, no, or even for your organization. Now, of course, if you're going to click the join class, the host or the teacher should be able to provide you the class code, and all you have to do is just to type the class code here. And once you place the class code in, all you have to do is just to click join. If you got the correct class code, then definitely you'll be able to join that Google Classroom. No? And of course, if you click the create classroom, you'll be able to you will be proceeding to this window or this message. Now, this message just tells us that if you are in the academy, you need to what's this? It's advisable for you to apply for the Google Workspace for Education. Now, for those institutions that are not yet with or not registered in the Google Workspace for Education accounts, there is a free Google for Education accounts. No, I think it's what we call the fundamentals. You can register your school there so that you can utilize the Google Workspace for Education. No? If your accounts or your school is registered to that, you'll have a lot of features. No, one of which is the bigger storage in bigger storage in our Google Drives. The regular accounts we only have 15 gig, but if you're registered into a Google Workspace for Education, you'll have a bigger space for that. Now, with this, once you see this message, all you have to do is just to click the check mark and then you click continue. And of course, you'll be displayed with this message. Just type the class name, the section, the subject, and the room. But what's required here is the class name. But it's a good practice that if you also fill up the section, the subject, and the room. But of course, if you don't want to place those details, that's okay. But just make sure that you have your class name in that. And then after that, you have all you have to do is just to click create, and it should bring you to the created Google Classroom page. No, so once you have created it, you'll have your class code here. This is the class code that you give to your students or to your participants. No, now please take note, guys. This Google Classroom, it's not just for classes, no. But if you are someone, if you're a moderator, or if you are a or club president, you can actually utilize Google Classroom for your organization. No, if you want to upload some news, if you want to upload, that is very exclusive for your organization, Google Classroom can also be utilized for that. And of course, in the four important parts in a Google Classroom is the stream, the classwork, and the people and the grades. Now, focusing on the stream, no, remember one of the important parts for me in an LMS is for you to be able to interact with your learners, no, even with your fellow teachers. Now, in Google Classroom, we have the stream page. Now, in the stream page, this is like if you are a Facebook user, this is like the feeds, no, or our wall, wherein we can see the all the posts by our friends, posts by the pages that we follow. No, so same concept here for Google Classroom. In the stream page, everything that you posted in the Google Classroom will also be posted there. It's like an announcement, no, for the Google Classroom, and it's really, really, what's this? It's really, really useful for us, no. And not only that, what I also like about the Google Classroom, it's so user friendly, no, and the buttons are very straightforward. And um, of course, on your screen right now, if you're going to click the add button, as you can see, you can add Google files from the Google Drive. You can add links, you can add a file, and you can even add a YouTube link for that. So that's how useful the Google Classroom can be. You can attach any file with this one, and of course, you can post it immediately. You can schedule it, and you can even save it for as a draft. No, so once you have done that, you can automatically this is the you can it can be posted already in the stream, and other the learners, no, members of this classroom can actually give their comments, give their feedback. No, so if for example, if you want to discuss some particular topic, you can give your announcement here and allow your learners to, or the members of this Google Classroom, interact with you, know, and they can exchange ideas. And that's how beautiful a Google Classroom stream page can be. I think for me personally, sharing of ideas is very, very important, no? Because we can learn from each other. And of course, in the classwork page, this is where the magic things happen. No, this is where we can upload the learning materials of our students. This is where we can upload or create an assessment. No, so as you can see here, the June 26th, the addition, the activities. These are the sections. No, the sections or the topics in the Google Classroom. It's up to you how you want to name your sections in the Google Classroom, or how you want to name your topics. No, you can name it by date, you can name it by subject, or the types of files that is within that section. And of course, you can add assignments, quizzes, and other materials here. No, to create an assignment, all you have to do is just to click the assignment, no, and then you give the instructions, the output, the deadline, and the scoring. Now, it's a good practice for us teachers when we upload assignments or quizzes. It's important, of course, aside from the title, the part of the instruction should be the output, the expected output from your students, from our learners, so that they will know how to approach the learners. No, I mean how to approach the output, what tools that they can use, so that uh, they can give you or provide the teacher their expected output. And of course, it's a good practice to put the deadline. Although there is at the upper right portion, we can actually place the deadline of that assignment or of that exam, but still it's a good practice if we also provide the deadline as part of the instruction. And of course, the scoring, no? So that the students will know how to get a perfect score in your particular assignment. So this for me, these four items here are the important elements or information that should be part of the instructions. Now, looking at the buttons here, let's focus on the ones with the red box. If you will click add, you can actually see that the Google Drive link file and YouTube is also present in the stream page earlier. And the same thing, same function when we create an assignment. We can still create a Google Drive, we can add a link, no? And what's also nice about the Google Classroom, we can actually integrate the Google Workspace tools, no? Like for example, the docs, the slides, the sheets, the drawings, and forms. So if you wish to create like for example, if you're going to create an assignment, and if you wish to have a worksheets, no, you can create. If you don't have an existing worksheets yet, no, the template, you can actually create it right there and then. You don't have to open your Microsoft Word. You don't have to open any other word processing application. You can just simply click the docs and you can create your worksheets. Or even for presentation, imagine if you're creating a learning material for your students, you can actually create a PowerPoint slide, or you can actually create slides straight from the Google Classroom. And that's how very useful or easy for us to utilize it. No? And what's also nice about the Google Classroom is that when in terms of assignments, sometimes our students will have a little problem if they cannot because they cannot attend our classes because of some important, or maybe they got sick. So what's nice about the Google Classroom is that you can actually create assignments dedicated or exclusive for particular students who missed that particular assignment. As you can see here, no, in this four section, in this example, instead of assigning it all to the students, you can actually assign it to two students only, no? Targeting two students. And of course, the points, you can actually create a points, and of course, you can set it where you want it to be placed, in what section. For creating quizzes, as you can see, the interface is very the same. Okay, with creating assignment. But what's nice about this one is what's unique about creating quizzes in Google Classroom is that it actually utilized Google Forms. No, now before Google Forms was just utilized for surveys, no, getting the opinion of other people for researches and all that stuff. But now, because of this is also what's nice about the Google. No, so it's like they constantly evolve, they constantly improve their products, no, and that is why we have this kind of events, no, the Google I/O, because this is one way for us to inform others the latest updates in Google applications, and hence look at this, no. at Google Forms. Before, again, it was just for research. Now it can already be utilized for creating quizzes. So in Google Classroom, they actually integrate or they use the Google Forms to create or come up with quizzes. Now, by default, no, some LMS um, uh, platforms, they provide a timer for their exams. Now, by default, in Google Classroom or in for Google Classroom, I mean, sorry, for Google Forms, it does not have, by default, it does not have a timer, but all you have to do is just to go to the extensions and add a timer. No? And that also includes for other Google application tools. No? So if you want more feature, just go to the extension and install it to your browsers, no? So that it can um, you'll have more features than the default features in the Google Workspace tools. And of course, in the people page, you'll be able to see all the people who are within the Google Classroom. You'll be able to see teachers and students. You can add them. You can add teachers. You can add the members of the Google Classroom, and of course, with the grades. No, of course, if you are at if you'll be using this for your classes, this is how it's easy for us to compute our grades and for computing the grades of our students. So checking if they have really performed or they have really learned from our sessions. No, and again, this stream page, what's nice about this, everything that you post, no, even if you post the assignments, the quizzes in the classwork in the stream page, everything will be announced there. No, so in the stream page, so it serves like an announcement, and uh, this is one way for us to also interaction, no, because probably students can ask about the pointers, no, through this stream page. So that's how very useful a Google Classroom can be for teachers and for other organizations. No, in conclusion, as we said, that for me, these three items here: uploading learning materials, assessing our students, and having an interaction in an LMS is basic functionality of a learning management system. The Google Classroom provides all of us these three and more. Okay, and more. So the Google Classroom provides us ways to give learning materials to our students, uh, gives us way to assess the learning experience of our students, have an interaction with them, and there's a lot more for us to be able to use the Google Classroom. And to know more about the Google Classroom, you can check out the Google for Education YouTube channel, and you'll learn more about how to utilize the Google Classroom, not just for our students, no, for our learners. Some schools, they also utilize the Google Classroom to handle their to have discussion with the parents of their students, and some of them are also utilizing the Google Classroom for their workshops, even for their religious activities. No, like for example, Sunday school. No, you can really utilize the Google Classroom for that, and also you can also catch me on that YouTube channel. I was able to praise God for opportunity. I was able to create a one video content on them for that channel, and that's how to create, or I mean how to adapt various file types within the classroom. No? So this feature is teaches us how to convert files for our Google Classroom. So to know more, please do check it out. Okay, and again, thank you very much to all our organizers, Ma'am Fe, Ma'am Yulin, and Sir Sal, and to all the organizers of the Google I/O. Thank you very much for this opportunity. And to our participants, I hope you were able to learn something from this session. And thank you very much. God bless.